From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Starting off overseas with breaking news, Pakistan's top political and military leadership says they're working to prevent Iran-U.S. talks from collapsing. Now, part of the effort was persuading Donald Trump and the U.S. to extend the current ceasefire. Officials also saying they're keeping security arrangements in place in Islamabad just in case American and Iranian delegations ultimately arrive. Meanwhile, British officials say a second ship was fired on in the Strait of Hormuz this morning. They have yet to identify who fired the shot, but noted that it happened just a short time after Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard opened fire on a container ship in the strait. With a review of the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement looming large and trade relations rattled by U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs, some say it's time for Canada's voice to be heard.
Texan Louise Bennett says she knows the trade between Canada and the U.S. is important, but she thinks Canada should be louder about it.
If they're trying to do trade and want people to know, they should be loud about it.
Texas imported $38.6 billion in goods from Canada in 2024, and the Lone Star State sent $36.6 billion in exports north. Executive Director of the Future Borders Coalition, Laura Dawson, says it's no longer beneficial for Canada to be quiet about its contributions to the U.S. economy. She says that means institutional investments in U.S.-Canada diplomacy. Kelly Malone, The Canadian Press, Houston.
A woman from Burnaby, BC, says she was at the Teotihuacan pyramids near Mexico City on Monday when a gunman opened fire, killing a Canadian woman and injuring 13 other people. Barbara Welsh says her group were halfway through a tour of the site when the attack began. She says the group quickly escaped by running toward the parking lot as people began tumbling down the pyramid.
We left in the van. We could still hear the shots as we were getting out of there. The shots were still going on. They went on for like over 20 minutes.
Officials say they're still working to understand the motive of the shooter, who reportedly planned the attack, played strange music, ranted about hating tourists, and fired randomly. Now back home, where experts are advising anyone in the market for a new vehicle to factor higher gas prices into their budgets. Morgan Roberts of HR Insurance says repairs, insurance, and parking are other costs you need to consider. A recent analysis by ratehub.ca says Canadians are paying an average of $231 a month on fuel. That's 40% higher than before the war in the Middle East put upward pressure on prices. And finally, the chief of a flood-prone First Nation north of Winnipeg is calling for a permanent fix as some residents with medical needs were sent out ahead of anticipated rising waters. Peguis First Nation Chief Stan Bird says there have been positive talks with the province and Ottawa and that something could be in the works for as early as this summer. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, starting in the NHL with the playoffs, J.J. Moser scored at 12 minutes and 48 seconds of overtime to give the Tampa Bay Lightning a 3-2 victory over the Montreal Canadiens, knotting their first-round series at a game apiece. That series now shifts to Montreal for 2 games, with Game 3 set for Friday night and Game 4 Sunday. Elsewhere, the Boston Bruins beat the Buffalo Sabres 4-2, evening their first-round series 1-1, and the Utah Mammoth snagged a 3-2 victory over the Vegas Golden Knights for another early series split, 1-1. In the NBA playoffs, the Raptors are off as their first-round series shifts to Toronto. The Raps down to the Cleveland Cavaliers 2-0. Meanwhile, the San Antonio Spurs fell 106-103 to the Portland Trail Blazers. The Philadelphia 76ers topped the Boston Celtics 111-97. And the LA Lakers beat the Houston Rockets 101-94. And finally, in MLB action, the Toronto Blue Jays held on for a 4-2 win over the Los Angeles Angels. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.